Former Archbishop of Canterbury, George Carey, has his right to officiate as a priest revoked over links to case of QC probed over abusing boys, leaving him bewildered and dismayed. The Archbishop of Canterbury has been accused of covering up, but also priests and monks, abbots at St Benedict's School, Ealing, have also been accused of covering up, yet nothing has happened to them.
Lord Carey, the former Archbishop of Canterbury, has resigned from his post in the Church of England over a report that said he was among senior figures who colluded with the paedophile disgraced former Bishop of Lewes, Peter Ball.
One of Lord Carey's bishops, called Ball, who's also a friend of Prince Charles, was imprisoned in 2015 for sexually abusing 18 young men over 30 years. He was released in February 2017 after serving half his sentence. So for abusing 18 boys, you get over 30 years, you get 2 years. Yeah, really good. Yeah, the law system. Well done. Lord Carey resigned as honorary assistant bishop in the Diocese of Oxford in 2017 after an inquiry found he delayed a proper investigation into Ball's crimes for 2 decades by failing to pass information to the police. We're going to find that Abbot Shipley, ex-Abbot Shipley at St Benedict's School, St Benedict's Abbey, Ealing Parish, Abbey, Ealing, London, also sort of did the same thing.
Last Thursday, an independent report by Dame Moira Gibb found that church leaders had mishandled the Ball case, concealing evidence of his wrongdoing.
No concrete evidence has emerged of any sort of cover-up. The question remains, though, if it was an open secret, why, for so long, did it stay as just a secret?
Lord Carey has admitted that he got things badly wrong, but I'm sure that many other individuals, had they made that error, would be paying probably a heavier price than simply having to resign from an honorary position as an auxiliary bishop down in Oxford.
Peter Ball was jailed in 2015 for historic sex offences. The former Bishop of Lewes admitting abusing boys and young men between the 1970s and the 1990s. Dame Moira Gibb's review revealed that Lord Carey received various letters from families and individuals following Ball's caution in 1992 for gross indecency, but he failed to pass 6 of them on to the police.
I have to say that victims find that excuse, as it were, rather unconvincing.
In 2001, the Diocesan Child Protection Coordinator, James Carey, advised Abbot Shipley that RCA 420's claim he should be reported to the police. That would be one of the victims. Shipley undertook to Mr. Carey that he would act on this, but it seems that he in fact decided not to do so, favouring his own judgment of the facts over an independent review of evidence, because of course he has been divinely inspired by God. Question: did you bring the A420 matter to the police's attention? Answer: Shipley: I did not. Question: why not? Shipley: because I simply did not believe that this was possible. In fact, I was outraged that such an accusation could be made against someone of whom it did not occur to me that it was possible that this sort of thing could happen. Question: do you agree that the decision was wrong? Oh yes, absolutely wrong. And this is the thing. The answer is always, oh no, I didn't imagine that my brother could do that. Yeah, I mean, accusations have been, put against him for the last 2 decades by various people, by loads of boys, and priests have said the same thing that I never knew about, but, maybe I did. And I never believed that he could do such a thing, even though loads of other priests have been put into prison for sexual abuse. But no, I didn't. He's my friend. And, with the love and kindness of St Benedict and Jesus, I prefer to dwindle towards their enlightened understanding of the world instead of hard facts.
The Prince of Wales says he regrets being deceived by a bishop who was convicted of sexually abusing young men and teenagers. In a letter to the independent inquiry into child sexual abuse, the Prince wrote that he'd been friends with Peter Ball, the former Bishop of Gloucester, for several decades.
He received a caution for gross indecency in 1993. The two men exchanged letters over 2 decades. In 1993, Peter Ball wrote, "Life continues to be pretty nasty for me. It seems that my accusers still want to continue their malicious campaign. Luckily, they are beginning to show some of their fraudulent plans." In 1995, Prince Charles wrote to Peter Ball saying, "I wish I could do more. I feel so desperately strongly about the monstrous wrongs that have been done to you and the way you have been treated."
Shipley's inaction concerning Pearce, the report goes on to say, now obviously I can or could have complained, but at this stage I'm aware of a lot of stories about him. The suggestion being that stories were not enough. Has anyone ever told Shipley that the Bible is one huge story? That Moses is a story? That there are 4 very important stories in the Bible called Gospels which tell the story of Jesus? If you don't think that stories are good enough, then maybe you shouldn't listen to Matthew, Mark, Luke and John, whom you base your entire life on. Later in his evidence to us, Abbot Shipley said that he did not raise concerns when he was head of the junior school because by that stage Pearce is now out. Well, he's out of the school. So what he's saying is that, oh yeah, so he's abused boys, but now that he can't abuse boys anymore, we can overlook the entire matter. So it's like Hitler. Oh, well, we've removed Hitler from his Führer position. He's gone and killed 6 million people, but let's not do anything about it because he's no longer Führer anymore. Yeah, I love this logic, you know. Oh, he raped his children. Well, he's no longer a father in the house anymore, so now we can overlook the matter. I love these people. Yeah, the way their mind works, you know, anything to protect abusers. The first report makes it clear that abuses by Pearce were common knowledge among staff, pupils and monks. For instance, Father Timothy Gorham, a monk who taught at the school, recalled pupils talking in 1995 about Pearce saying things like, "Sit on my lap, little boy." Gorham said these things were already mentioned amongst the monks at the Abbey. I think everyone knew about it, except Shipley, or if Shipley did know about it, he pretended he didn't want to know about it, or he just didn't believe it, even though everyone's talking about it. So, you know, everyone talks about a lot of things, but it seems that priests seem to decide what's true and what's not based on what's convenient to them.
Prince Charles said he hadn't been aware of the true context and details of the complaints against Peter Ball. God damn it! He received a caution for gross indecency in 1993. Prince Charles said he hadn't been aware until his trial in 2015. 1993.
Prince Charles is somebody who had access to the best legal advice that money can buy.
Prince Charles said he hadn't been aware.
He had the opportunity to clarify the legal position. He should have taken that opportunity and should have avoided a relationship with this man.
Fucking shit!
Events later demonstrated beyond any doubt, to my deep regret, that I, along with many others, had been misled, and the reverse was true.
The prince said he wasn't aware until recently that a caution carried an acceptance of guilt.
I have to say that victims find that excuse, as it were, rather unconvincing.
Yep. He said that during the 1980s and 90s, there was a presumption that you could take people such as bishops at their word.
Oh, fuck! What's wrong?
I have to say that victims find that excuse, as it were, rather unconvincing.
Instead, he relied on the fact that he was living alongside Pearce and believed he could therefore monitor his activities. You know, a paedophile cover-upper monitoring a paedophile, like a criminal monitoring another criminal. He relied on Pearce's promises of compliance, i.e. word of mouth. And he relied on other monks telling him of the breaches, even though the other monks had also been accused of paedophilia, some sticking their fingers up little boys' anuses, some sodomizing and raping them, others knowing exactly what's going on and doing nothing. But let's rely on them to tell us what the paedophiles are doing. The report states that Shipley was wrong in all 3 cases. Again, Shipley relies on compliance by Pearce. This repeats the mistaken assumption that because Pearce should not have contact, he would not have contact. It was not appropriate to deal with a significant risk to children by relying on the word of the person accused of abusing them. And what we see is Prince Charles relies on the good word of, Bishop Ball, that he didn't rape anyone. Prince Andrew relies on the good reputation of Epstein.
Prince Andrew has told the BBC he doesn't regret his friendship with the late convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein because of the trade and business opportunities it provided.
That he didn't rape anyone. Because Prince Andrew, if he didn't believe that Epstein hadn't raped anybody, then why was he hanging out with Epstein? Unless, of course, Prince Andrew endorses having people around him that rape children. And again, we see Abbot Shipley relies on people's words. He relies on the word of a paedophile, that the paedophile won't go and touch children. And again, Lord Carey obviously relied on people's word.
Lord Carey has given his own response to the criticism. He acknowledged that he too readily believed Peter Ball and not his victims.
Paedophilia happens because people believe the paedophiles aren't going to do it. And then they say, oh no, we're innocent, you know, we're naive, we're people of God, The people of God are supposed to be dealing with the devil. That's the whole point of spirituality. You're supposed to be prepared to deal with the devil. The devil lies. If you can't deal with the devil, and the devil is in the paedophile in your monastery, then you shouldn't be head of that monastery or head of the church. You shouldn't even be there. You should be in the learning center or the classes learning what spirituality is and how it needs to interact with evil and how to deal with it. You can't go and lead people around the world and lead your flock and lead your sheep if you yourself can't combat the devil, if you can't recognize the devil. You're incompetent, you're inept, you're inadequate, and probably you're a damn liar.
What the fuck?
Lord Carey has accepted the report's criticisms and has apologised to Peter Ball's victims.
I have to say that victims find that excuse, as it were, rather unconvincing.
Some of the victims believe that Lord Carey should be removed from the House of Lords.
Son of a bitch!